You're listening. Dwann B. Intelligent-ish talk, intelligent shit talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, conversation and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
What up, y'all? We are here.
You're listening to Hotepish with your host,
With that intelligent-ish talk.
Intelligent-ish talk.
That intelligent
where we balance the
shit
profound
talk.
with the profane. Political
Let me get my
satire,
music straight. Let me get my music straight. No, I don't want to play that. I'm doing
1981.
Yeah. We're gonna talk to this today. Thank y'all for joining me. We are here. We're gonna talk some shit. It's a lot going on in the world. I wish I could have come to you sooner. But I was busy. Shouts out to Seattle. Thank you for everybody that came to see Craig Facts live in Seattle this past Saturday. In the rain and the cold. It was a good show. And to show you how much of an asshole I can be, one of my childhood best friends was up there. He lives in Seattle now. Almost every joke that I told on stage about other people on the show, it was a coded joke to piss that nigga off. Y'all ever had them friends where you know certain things, y'all have like a goofy friendship, and it's like certain things that you mention certain people, certain names, and it kind of like pissed them off. Like, why you have to bring that motherfucker up? Like those kind of friendships, that's kind of how it is with me and my boy Reggie. So when I crack jokes on Todd and other people, I make references to The Last Dragon and all kind of shit that I know that Saved by the Bell. All kind of shit that I know really pisses Reggie off. So I had a lot of fun. Like it was fun being able to make the whole audience laugh, but at the same time have an inside joke with somebody in the audience. No one else knows that but me and that motherfucker. What's up, Jay Smooth? What's up, Star? What's up, Quan? What's up, everybody in the chat room? Somebody named Andrew Como. That's funny. That's funny. That is funny, Andrew Como. We are here. We're going to talk a little bit about this Ukrainian thing. We're going to talk about, the whole, how they kicking Africans off the bus. And we're going to talk about how, certain Negroes here in America are reacting. We're going to get into all that. What's up, Lady B? What's up, Nigerian Butterfly? Yeah, like the video. Hit like right now and share. Share, please, 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 please share. So a little backdrop to what's going on in Russia and Ukraine right now. It's just same old song. White on white crime. And let me tell you something. These motherfuckers, first of all, one reason why we shouldn't even be, black people shouldn't even get all emotional over this, is these motherfuckers been fighting each other forever. Y'all remember that part on the Sandlot? Forever. As long as there's been a written history, the Slavic nations of Eastern Europe have been at each other's neck. I can't point out a 10-year period in the last 150, 200 years that they've had peace over there in Eastern Europe. It's always a fight. These motherfuckers is always fighting. Going back to shit, probably going back to the damn. Matter of fact, these fights came out the caves of Europe. They were fighting during the time of ancient Greece. They were fighting during the time of ancient Rome. All these motherfuckers do is fight. Fight, 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 fight. And that piece of land in the Ukraine has always been a very, very, very valuable piece of land because, as we know, Europe is a barren, desolate place. Europe is a shithole. That's what Trump really meant when he said they come from these shithole countries. He was talking about himself and his shithole daddy. Europe is a shithole. Not much gets cracking and growing in Europe. Yeah, over here in Italy, yeah. Now as you get lower. But when you start to get above here, above this Arctic, above this, what's that, the 51st parallel? That's about right here. Once you get above that, don't hardly shit grow. So control of this Ukraine region is vital for survival if you're gonna be in that shithole known as Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is a ghetto. That's where ghettos come from. Well, really they come from Italy. But these people over here in these Slavic nations, because Russia is a Slavic nation, the Ukraine, all of these are the Slavic nations. Slav, aka slave. If you didn't know before, now you know where that word slave comes from. It comes from the Slavs. If you want to know where ghettos come from, they come from Italy, but transported out into what's now Poland, Belarus, Ukraine, Germany, Austria, Serbia, Bosnia. All these places got hella ghettos. And in their ghettos, it's a lot of white on white crime. It's a lot of AIDS. Lots of sexually transmitted diseases. Lots of rape. It's very shitty. All right? So always know, black people, when I say things like we're living their reality, that's what I mean. When I say we're living their reality, they exported Europe to the United States. They exported Europe to the United States. There were no ghettos in the United States before the late 1800s. The ghettos came in the late 1800s as these Europeans, mostly German at the time, were coming, bringing their trash to this continent. Here go some pictures of some Eastern European ghettos right now. This is now in Eastern Europe. This isn't a long time ago. This is now. So when they came to America in the late 1800s and moved into the cities, they brought with them the ghettos into those cities. And in those ghettos, they fought each other, just like they fought in Eastern Europe. The only time they've ever come together in the Americas and in Europe was when they had a common enemy. In Europe, that common enemy was the Moors. Moors are black people. That was a common enemy. Europeans united around Christianity to defeat the Muslim Moors, the black folks. Before they had the terms white and black, they united under the term Christian. That's why if you pay attention to when Barack Obama was in office, they always talked about how Christian they were and how Muslim he was. Muslim has been a code name for black for about 1,300 years now. Let's just make it plain. Muslim has been a code word for black or more for about 1,300 years. I'm setting a foundation to where we are right now, and then we're going to move forward. Y'all know me. I like to build. I like to put it all in the context. So hopefully what I'm saying makes sense to you. I know it's going to be some slow tropes out there that's going to be like, man, you hating, and whatever. To those people, God bless you. I was going to say something mean, but not this time. But so as you see, these are the conditions that they brought to the United States of America. So when black people started coming to the cities in the 1920s through the 1960s in the Great Migration, they vacated those ghettos and we moved into them. Beautiful thing is, when we moved into them, they weren't immediately ghettos. We actually cleaned the places up a little bit. Those places didn't become ghettos until the 1970s when the government made it ghettos. But as you see here in Eastern Europe, their ghettos are much worse. They live in slums. So I'm saying that to say, Ukraine is a very, very, very valuable piece of land over in Eastern Europe. Because Ukraine can provide sustenance, and it does provide sustenance to the whole region. So what's going on with Russia is mad that the Ukraine is loyal to the West, meaning the United. When we say West, that's basically United States, the United Kingdom, Western Europe, and the United States, basically. Europe is divided upon this line right here, going back to when it was East and West Germany, where it's like basically, it used to be through the middle of Germany, but basically through Germany, Czech Republic, Austria, everything you see on the side of my mouse right here, that's all Eastern Europe. And then of course there's Switzerland, which out of all the wars that have been happening here over the last, I don't know how long, nobody ever touches Switzerland. You see World War I and II were fought right here, but a bomb never touches Switzerland. Got to ask yourself why, but that's another broadcast. So, going back to this shitty ass Europe, these motherfuckers been fighting forever. Going way back, one of the most, this to show you how vital the Ukraine is. Back when Attila the Hun was on his crusade through Europe and through Asia, one of his last stops on Attila the Hun's conquest back during the 4th and 5th centuries was the Ukraine. Ukraine and this island right here is Crimea. Well, for a long time, there was this, when we were kids, if you were an 80s baby like me, when we was kids, we remember the USSR. The USSR, the Soviet Union, was a union of all of these stand countries and these Slavic nations. But the USSR couldn't stick together, partially because it was underfunded after World War II. The Marshall Plan gave more money to Japan, which attacked America, than it did Russia, which fought 90% of the war for America. But that and the fact that these motherfuckers is always fighting each other. They're always talking to us about black on black crime. These motherfuckers stay at each other's neck. So it wasn't gonna be too long before the USSR broke up anyway. These white folks do not get along. What about white on white crime is what I'm saying. So the combination of Putin wanting to reunite the USSR and NATO going back on his promise over the last 60 years to not move eastward and to keep a barrier between the NATO nations and Russia, NATO's been like, you know what, fuck y'all. I'm gonna keep annexing nations all closer to Russia, which basically militarily surrounds Russia with the United States friendly armory. So if Putin gets Ukraine back, he gets a buffer between Russia, Moscow, and the West. And he also gets to go back and get the breadbasket. He gets to get, you know, the resources, the food, all the shit that crusty ass Eastern Europe don't have. So these are the motivations behind Putin doing what he doing. All right. So in the middle of this white on white fight, there are a lot of black people from Africa, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Ghana, all of these places studying in the Ukraine. When you think about Africa being the source of knowledge to the world, throughout world history, literally up until about 600 years ago, 500 years ago, it's crazy that you see these people leaving the home of all knowledge and going to the Ukraine to study. My African brothers and sisters, my prayers to you. What we need, this world needs? This world needs Africa to be for Africa. The world needs Africans to bring whatever education they do get to Europe back home. What we're seeing is Africans going all across the world and staying there and marrying white women. Yes, I'm clowning because it's true. The world needs Africa to strengthen itself from within. That'll never happen as long as Africans are running across the planet for everyone else to provide them an education. I get needing the education. I get that. Asians do it all the time. Come over here for the education. But at some point, you got to take that education back home and build your home from within. What's going on in the Ukraine right now is Ukraine is actually putting up a pretty good fight. They're fighting back to Russia. Of course, their get back is funded by the United States in a lot of ways. I'm be jumping all over the place, but this all ties into one story. My shit was on mute. My bad. My shit was on mute. My bad. So, You see here, Ukraine is being aided by the United States. So when you listen to these people come over here and tell us pull us up by our bootstraps, these are the people that needed help to defend their own goddamn country. And in the 6.4 billion, when those refugees come to the United States, guess where that money's coming from? See, what the Africans in the Ukraine are caught up in is a proxy war between the United States, well, a direct war with Russia, but also a proxy war with the United States. And in that proxy war, in this Ukrainian war, they have a Ukrainians first policy. They have a Ukrainian first policy. See, this is what happens when you, this is a consequence, and this is a cautionary tale, because I really love to see my Africans develop a mindset of Africa for Africa. Because the cost of leaving your homeland for an education in a foreign land is when you get caught up in that foreign land's internal politics, you're the first one to be ass out. Countries are always going to look out for theirs first. If something happened here in America, it'll be white Americans first out. Which I ain't tripping on that either, because I don't give a fuck what happens here in America. We black folks gonna survive, we gonna stay, and we gonna be the ones to rebuild it. Like we built it the first time. But that's another story. When Africans are fleeing across the world, in other countries, you get caught up in their internal politics. And that's what's happening right now with the FBA movement. And I want to say it's more than a movement, because this shit's here to stay. That's one thing about the FBA. This is like that movie Inception. All we needed was Inception. Was it put in our minds that we are our own lineage, because we've been told everything but that. All we needed was that put in our minds. So now that's just taking off like wildfire. And if the new black media never does another broadcast from here on out, that ideology has already been put into the mind of a critical mass of black Americans. We're not going back, because we know who we are. This information about us has always been scattered. We've always known Benjamin Banneker, Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver. We've always known we've created all of the music, from the blues to jazz to country to hip hop to rap. We've always known this. But these things about us have all kind of like been around in the ether. It wasn't really codified. It was like satellite knowledge. Like, we've known that we fought in the Civil War. We know Black history. We've known a lot of things about us. We've known we've been the conscience of America. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, Crispus Attucks. We've always known these things. But the whole African thing was just, we would say it because that's what we were told to say. But it was never like, it never really hit like that. Those of us who are blessed to have connections to our families, we've heard the family stories about the Native American ancestry. But then we would hear from frauds like Louis Gates that was just that was just something that's not true. We all came from Africa. But when the thought of Native Black American, foundational Black American, when that got put out there and when that got really, you know, it quantified, it kind of put all of these satellite bits of knowledge we've had about ourselves into one codified thing. So over the last 40 years, a lot of Africans have been migrating to the United States. And the majority of the time they've been here when the Black American was sort of asleep, not really knowing who we were. We knew we were special, but the Black American of the 80s, of the 90s, of the 2000s, of the pre-2012, let's just tell the truth. 2012 was when a lot of things changed. That's when Trayvon Martin happened the same year Obama got reelected. And a lot of Black people started to wake the fuck up 10 years ago in 2012. And it's been a slow momentum build since then. And it seems like every year, more Black people are awake than they were last year. And it's just been a steady momentum for the last 10 years. People I'm having conversations about this blackness now, these were niggas that were ignoring me back in 2005 when I was talking about this shit. Oh, here come Dwan on that black stuff back in 1995. Now these niggas is goddamn Stokely Malcolm Marcus Garvey ass niggas. So we've been on a steady drumbeat of self-identification and knowing who we are. Because before we really knew who we are, we accepted everybody into our circle. Black people have been having private side conversations about how Africans treat us, but we don't really view Africans as a threat. So it'd be like, that's just that tight jeans, church shirt and jeans wearing ass nigga over there. If y'all go back and look up Eddie Griffin's comedy special, Voodoo Child, that dropped, I think, in either 97 or 98, 1997 or 1998. He had a whole bit about Africans thinking that they better than us while they driving a taxi cab. This has been a private conversation Black Americans have been having for a long time. But again, we do not see Africans or Caribbeans as a threat. So we just kind of been like, yeah, whatever. Them niggas dress funny anyway, so whatever. Them niggas dress funny and they women give us all the play, so it really don't matter. Let's do what the fuck we do. We don't care. But since Trump got in office, 2016, a lot of things changed. One thing I'll always appreciate about the Trump years, Trump brought realness back to America. Realness to America for the first time. Dwan, how can you say that? How was Trump real? He lied a lot. Let me tell you how Trump was real. Trump acted as the United States of America has always behaved. Let me say that one more time. Trump's actions, his tweets, his vile rhetoric, his open white supremacy was a reflection of how the United States has always behaved. Trump removed the veil through his vulgarity. Because one thing about the United States of America, I should call this place the United States of Illusions. Because this place is a big ass illusion. The words have always said one thing: all men are created equal. But the application of how this country's always functioned has always been different from its rhetoric. Let me say that again. How this country is functioned has always been different than its rhetoric. The United States has the most powerful media on the planet. The most powerful music on the planet. Thank you, Black Americans. And through the combination of media and music, has indoctrinated the planet to perceive America in a certain way. So people from Africa and these other countries have been coming to America based on the perception they've been indoctrinated in. That's why they're so quick to say, you Black Americans are just lazy. You're lazy. As they get into their 1979 mustard yellow diesel Mercedes. You ever notice that shit? If you ever see a mustard yellow, late 70s, early 80s Mercedes, I guarantee you it's a Nigerian driving that motherfucker. What's up with Nigerians and old ass Mercedes? Nigerians be hopping in these 1995 Princess Diana editions Mercedes S600s, S500s, the one that Princess Diana was in when she got Boomty Bam trapped. They always got these old 20, 30, 40-year Mercedes. I'm like, look, nigga, chill. You driving a diesel Mercedes from the 70s, bruh. Chuku. I do not care. It's a Mercedes. Hey, man, that Mercedes sound like it's having an asthma attack with all that gargling and shit. Shut up, Black American, while I drive my Mercedes. Am I lying? Am I lying? It's always gonna be a Nigerian in an old ass Mercedes. And that's just how it sounds warming up. So what's happening here in the United States isn't as dire as what's happening in the Ukraine. But do you guys see the common thread here in relationship to Africans? Africans are being caught up in native drama. You cannot escape drama, especially internally. You cannot escape drama. So it's either you're going to stay home and fix your drama, or you're going to export yourself and get caught in the middle of someone else's drama. Pick your poison. Because my heart goes out to those black people, those Africans in the Ukraine. I don't wish nothing bad upon them. Yes, I know the Ukrainians are full of shit. Including Vasily Lomachenko. Shit, if you want to know how much America be kissing Ukraine's ass, there's this boxer out there named Vasily Lomachenko. This motherfucker was 8-1, and they had him on the number one pound for pound over Errol Spence, who was like 26-0 at the time. Terrence Crawford was like 30-0 at the time. Andre Ward was still fighting. He was 32-0 at the time. And they put some Ukrainian motherfucker who was 8-1 as #1 pound for pound. That's how much the United States fuck with the Ukraine. They even put they goddamn overhyped ass boxers over foundational black American born and raised in the United States. That's the relationship the United States has with the Ukraine. Because with Ukraine, the United States gets to control what the United States gets out of this is control over Eastern European food supply, over the Eastern European trade. The Black Sea is very important and vital to trade. And when Russia took Crimea back in 2014, that was to gain access to the Black Sea and be open to trade throughout the Mediterranean. Remember, the reason why Europe was a ghetto all throughout the Dark Ages was because the Moors took control of the Mediterranean Sea and cut off all trade lines to Europe. So on this map right here, when the Moors control this area down here, the rock of Gibraltar all through here, they controlled all of the resources of Europe. So because these Germanic white folks were savages, the Moors locked them out of trade. So when you're dealing with Eastern Europeans, they're very sensitive to these trade routes through the Mediterranean Sea, through the Black Sea. Because to lose control of these trade routes would send them back into the Dark Ages, when they were dying of all kinds of chicken pox and smallpox and the Justinian plague and all that shit. So these motherfuckers they're always fighting each other over control of the access to these resources. So Africans decided to move to these places for an education. But did they pay attention to the fact that these Eastern European nations can't go 10 years without fighting each other? Do you guys remember the Bosnian War back in 1996, 98? When Bill Clinton bombed Croatia? Bombed Bosnia on the half of Croatia? Them motherfuckers was fighting, and that's actually how the United States and Russia fell out of favor. Because after the Cold War, up until 1998, the United States and Russia had good relationships. All Russia asked was for the United States to stay out of this Croatian-Bosnia war. The United States said, fuck you, Russia, again, and dropped some bombs on these motherfuckers, which led to the election of Putin, because Putin was a nationalist that wanted to reunite the USSR, and Putin vowed to do something about the United States interfering in this war, and that's what devolved United States-Russian friendships and partnerships over the last 20 years. Because before that Bosnian War, the United States and Russia had about a 6 or 7 year partnership that was fake. Why am I saying all this? Just like what's going on here in Africa, here in Europe, just like what's going on here in the United States, Africans are caught up in a civil dispute. Africans are caught up in a civil dispute. But instead of paying attention to the landscape of what's going on around them, instead of studying the history, see, if you here, and this is my advice to anybody who plans on moving. If you want to move to another country, hell, if you want to move to another side of the country or another city, study the history of that area. What are the beefs? What are the conflicts? How do you protect yourself? How do you have an outlet in case of something jumping off? That's why I'm not for black people moving to Ghana. Like those Cobra bastards in that reparations meeting were talking about repatriation of Ghana. Shit. Now with all them goddamn wars they be having over in Africa amongst tribes, what's going to happen if black Americans move en masse to West Africa with all those fights they be having with each other? What if we do get it going over there? What if we do establish trade, start making money? What is that going to do to those tribes who've been there for hundreds, thousands of years who are making no money? What do you think they're going to do the minute black Americans build up West Africa? What the fuck do you think these people who've been fighting each other for trillions of years are gonna do? They gonna come take your shit. That's why all the people like, we need to move back to Africa. Nigga, do you know the tribal beefs going on between them? You want to get in the middle of that? These motherfuckers got thousands of years of beef to settle between each other, and your dumbass want to move in the middle of that. Okay, be my guest, but I'm staying here. These Slavic countries are nothing but, and these European countries, they do nothing but fight. Fight. I always said the longest length of peace that Western Europe has had with each other, the longest time Western Europe has had peace has been the time between the end of World War II and now. World War II ended in 1945 to now. That is the absolute longest this side of Europe has gone without fighting since the Caucasoid people left the mountains of Georgia to move and populate East and Western Europe. But Eastern Europe, they've had no such peace. And here in the United States, as of now, the black American is waking up. The black American is seeing the game that's been played. The same game that got played on us post-Reconstruction when they brought in all of these Western Europeaners and Eastern Europeaners to populate what's now known as the Midwest. We were promised 40 acres and a mule before Abraham Lincoln was killed at the Ford Theater. We were promised 40 acres and a mule, 1865. We don't get that. But what did happen? New Europeans, fresh off the boat, benefited from the Homestead Act. The Homestead Act was, you can have all of the land you want, 160 acres for a single person or a married couple, and additional acreage for each one of your children. So while we were promised 40 acres and a mule, we didn't get that, but new immigrants to America got 160 acres of land. That's why when you look at the Midwest, the highest immigrant group to the United States is in the Midwest. And they're from where? Germany. The Germanics. The Germans. They're the biggest immigrant group to the United States. And they're the people who filled out Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, all those Tornado Alley states. So, Black Americans have to deal with that. We have to deal with the influx of Asians and white women and gay people that have been eating off the plate of our civil rights bill. The civil rights bill, both the civil rights bills of the 1860s and the 1960s. Remember, the first civil rights bills happened in the 1860s. But your new German, Italian, Irish immigrants were the ones that benefited most from the civil rights bills of the 1860s. Fast forward to the 1960s, Asians, Latinos, white women, LGBTQ, these new classifications that didn't exist before the 1960s, they started benefiting from our civil rights. And nowadays, you got Africans coming to America and just blatantly talking shit about us. We don't have to rehash what we've been hearing in these clubhouse rooms about Black Americans, how lazy we are. And we've been hearing this shit from the camel's mouth. I'm sorry, y'all Africans. From the lion's mouth. Nigga, we've been hearing this shit from the cheetah's mouth. Nigga, we've been hearing this shit from the rhino's mouth, nigga. Of how a lot of y'all, too many of y'all, not all, but far too many feel. So Black America right now, post 2012, and really post 2016, is going through a cultural revolution. We are going through a much needed cultural revolution. Black America is analyzing our relationships with everyone. From our internal coons to these people that are partnering with the LGBTQ community against us, to these people who are partnering with the feminist community against us, to corrupt foundational Black American politicians, to foreign Black politicians, to foreign Black people from across the diaspora. We're reviewing our relationship with Indian Americans, both the ones from India and the red native. We're reviewing our relationship with Latinos, this whole minority coalition. Black America is reviewing and reappraising our relationship with all of these other groups that we've been grouped with over the last 60 years. As we review our relationship with everyone, we're starting to see the same things happen. Those same things are matters of disrespect. From the West Africans talking about our lack of education, to the East Africans talking about, you have no culture. My forehead has culture, but you guys don't. They've been headbutting us with that shit. To people from the Caribbean trying to claim that they created hip hop. To Latinos across the diaspora trying to claim hip hop in our lowrider car culture. And the way we dress, the way we talk, the way we walk. To Asians taking our cuisine and reselling it to us at a lower quality, from the fried chicken to the crab boil places. And we starting to see that, man, it's some bullshit going on right now. And all that we need to come together talk that our parents' generation was teaching us, all that shit is trash. We starting to see that, man, whether you Gen X or you're a millennial like myself, you starting to see all that shit that you was raised on by the media. Them niggas, the media telling us Al Sharpton's our leader. Or nowadays, the Al Sharpton of today is Jay-Z. Jay-Z is just 2022 Al Sharpton. For all you Jay-Z stans, leave all your GOAT arguments out this conversation. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, anybody who pays attention to United States politics and media and propaganda, you'll understand very easily how Jay-Z is the new Al Sharpton. The new Al Sharptons are our rappers. There are entertainers. Our LeBrons is the new Jesse Jackson. They know that they can't come to our generation with preachers because we don't fuck with church like that. Thank you for the subscription, Jake. We're not going to listen to preachers anymore. They know that. We listen to rappers and basketball players. I put a post up yesterday talking shit about Michael Jordan and LeBron James just to bring attention to the reparations task force here in California. Got to make sure we call in. Matter of fact, I'm going to get that number. Star, do you have that number? I know you saw the meme, Star, that I was going around with the number. I know I called in twice yesterday. To Stephen Bradford. But nowadays, the rapper and the athlete are the new Jesse Jacksons and Al Sharptons. That's why it was so easy to get black people to go back to football. Remember, they hired Jay-Z. Jay-Z, the year before, was like, we done with the NFL. And so Jay-Z got that call. And a year later, he was saying, we're past kneeling. And this is for the culture. And since then, the NFL has a racism lawsuit that they've hired Loretta Lynch for to defend them from. I don't watch football no more, but from what I understand, it's still only one or two black coaches. Niggas are still getting screwed over, but hey, Jay-Z provided a show for you that sounds like Jesse Jackson to me. Oh, you want to take it a step further? Remember 2020? Spring? Going into early summer? America was turned up. Young America was out there in revolt. Young black America was in revolt. All we needed was a month of no basketball. We flipped this shit. What happened? Oh, LeBron James, we need to get better playing basketball, you know what I mean? I'm LeBron James, man. I want to get this bubble championship, you know what I mean? You know, Steph Curry hurt, Durant hurt. Everybody hurt, man. It's going to be my last chance to win a championship. So, I stand with the protesters, you know what I mean? But we need to get back to basketball. Basketball started back July 2020. Revolution over. Am I lying? Tell me where the lie is. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Jay-Z, LeBron James. That's our generation's Generation X, millennials. That's our generation's Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. White supremacy don't change the game, they just change the players. And as black people, we got to know that. Black people are the first ones to talk about pimping, but the first ones in line getting pimped. We always want to talk about some slick lines, but one don't want to apply the lines to our geopolitical status. The game don't change. Just the players. What's another cliche we use? Same shit, different toilet. Ain't that another cliche we use? Same shit, different toilet? Same shit. Just the new toilet got bars and could jump higher than 10 kangaroos. But it's the same shit. So that's the America we live in. But we as black people, we're waking up to this. And we're waking up to it at a time that Africans and Caribbeans have gotten very, 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 very comfortable. And Latinos and Asians and white people. We're waking up at a time that they've gotten very, 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 very comfortable disrespecting us. And we're not allowing that anymore. We're putting our foot down. We're putting our foot down. We're saying no more. We're stepping up for ourselves, and everyone is crying foul. So Africans, Caribbeans, they have a choice to make. Do you go and stay home and get your shit together? Or do you continue to run the risk of getting involved in long-standing internal politics beefs? Because Black America, we're angling for reparations. And we ain't gonna let nobody get in the way of that. We've seen how the United States has thrown trick bags in the lingo, starting with the 40 acres and the mule, Reconstruction, the end of Reconstruction, Jim Crow, then with the Civil Rights Movement, then the NAACP coming in, getting us goddamn integration and throwing in words like minority and people of color and shit. And we not having it. Because Black Americans are cleaning up our house internally, and we're going for ours from the government. We have a 400-year-long issue with. Here's another thing that Africans and the Caribbeans and people from the diaspora don't understand about the fight between white and black here in America. Must I say this? And this is going to make people feel a certain way. The fight between white and black here in the United States of America is a family affair. "400 years on the same continent. Every black person," and that's why our reparations fight must include, you have to identify as black now, because we all got white cousins. If you go far enough in the family tree, you have white cousins. And when you go back and do your ancestry, those white cousins on the other side of town, whether it be in Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, the Carolinas, those white cousins on the other side of town were allotted resources your black ass couldn't get because of the color of your skin. So we have grievances going back a long way. I have a newspaper clipping from my 5 times great-grandfather. Here it is right here. I keep this shit on my computer. He was to be freed in 1855 in Natchez, Mississippi, because in his slave master's will, he was to be freed upon the death of the slave master, Nathaniel Hoggett, Adams County, Mississippi. Well, the manumission of my 5 times great-granddaddy didn't happen in 1855 because the governor stepped in and said, no, due to circumstances, look right here. They were property of Wilford Hoggett, who at his death gave them their freedom in his will. But from unforeseen circumstances, the will was not carried into effect until his son Nathaniel arrived at legal age. Mind you, Nathaniel, at the time, was like 2 months old. So my great-great-great-great-granddaddy, who was of legal age, was not set free, and nor was he given this land here in Natchez, Mississippi. For you people talking about something, this is divisive. Sit your ass down. I'm not one to draw divisions, but I am one to stand up for mine. And if me standing up for mine bothers you, well, guess what? I'm going to look out for myself before I look out for you. Self-preservation is the first law of nature, homeboy, homegirl, whoever got a problem with me talking about this. Black people got a real fucking fight for what was owed to us. Nigga, do you know Natchez, Mississippi in 1855 was the richest piece of real estate in the southern United States? Hell, Natchez, Mississippi at the time was wealthier than basically everywhere outside of New York and Boston. Natchez, Mississippi was some of the most wealthiest land out there. And my family could have gotten land in one of the wealthiest places in the United States at the height of its wealth, but that didn't happen because of the color of their skin. And to have someone who wasn't born here or family's not from here tell me speaking up for my family and what we earned is divisive? You can kiss all 300 plus pounds of my ass. With all due respect. We got a reparations fight on our hands. And we don't need to go around talking about, well, you got to define yourself as a nation first. Because this is one thing that people from the American Indians try to do. You have to define yourself as a sovereign citizen, because nations only give reparations back to nations. Okay, well, if that's true, all right. How did Latinos get reparations from being on the border? That wasn't to a nation. Latino isn't a nation. There were all kinds of people on this border in Laredo, Texas. There were people from Guatemala, El Salvador, Mexico. They didn't get that $350,000 each based on their nationality. They got that shit based on being Latino. And Latino isn't even a race. It's a classification. If you have to define yourself as a nation, how did Asians get reparations? They didn't make a reparations bill when the coronavirus hit for Japanese Americans, for Chinese Americans, for Indian Americans. They did it for Asians. A classification they just made up. Money was taken along the lines of black. Money will be returned along the lines of black. And black includes all non-white categories that come before it. Mulatto, Melungeon, Creole. All of them motherfuckers were all reclassified as black. Negro. The black Native Americans were reclassified as Negro to black. You got to get down to the least common denominator. You got to make this shit plain. You got to make this shit plain. Resources, land, and money was stolen along the lines of black. Resources will be returned along the lines of black. Those who can prove it in the 1870 census, and those who self-identified as black throughout their lifetime. It doesn't get any more clear than that. No, we don't need to hear to know Melungeons are basically, fuck them, they hate. No, Melungeons are black. Now, yes, I get that there were fights and problems 100 years ago. Hell, those fights that Melungeons were having against mulattoes, and that's the reason why that's why we all fucked up now. Let's just tell the truth. White people didn't come over here as no great goddamn conquerors on some conquest, fighting head up fades. They played up on these internal differences. And then once they conquered a group, they subjugated them and then subjugated the group that helped them conquer them. And then reclassify all them niggas as black. Melungeons are black now. Mulattoes are black now. Yes, we had internal beefs. Cry your fucking river and get over it. Let's get this money. Let's get this money. And that's where we are right now as black people. That's where we are. My family's land was right here in Natchez. I also have family plantation land here in Lake Charles. Just outside of Lake Charles. Land that was left to the black side of the family, but because the side was black, they couldn't retain any of it. This is a real thing that we have going on with our reparations fight. And if you're not from here, you can either help or you can sit your ass down. But the last thing you need to be doing is coming around telling black people what we need to be about. Because when you do that, you're just self-identifying as someone who's going to get left off the bus. Just like Africans are being denied transportation outside of the war because they aren't Ukrainian. Shit goes down here in America, which it always does. Y'all might be left out in the cold hit too if you don't check other Africans, other Caribbeans that are trying to amalgamate themselves into our culture, tether themselves to us, and speak negatively against us. Getting Congress, getting the Senate, and say black people don't need anything. You speak for us while speaking against us at the same time. That's an issue that the African and Caribbeans who are on code are going to have to fight tooth and nail to solve within your communities. But coming around to Black America, telling us what we shouldn't and should say, that's a no-go, homeboy, homegirl. That is a no-go. You ain't about to police us. We policing ourselves. I wasn't going to do this, but I want to open up the phone lines. I wasn't going to do this, but let me go ahead and do it. What y'all think? I'm not going to take that many phone calls. I am going to take a few. I want first in line people to call in who don't agree with me. If you think that I'm being divisive, if you think we should focus on something else, give me a call. I'm willing to listen to your point of view and see if there's anything of substance in that point of view. 323-744-7425. 323-744-7425. If you disagree, call in now. Because when it comes down to it, countries, nations have all kinds of internal and external beefs. And if you're going to move to a nation or region, it's best that you study those internal politics before you decide to move there. That way you give yourself a full risk-reward assessment. Because if the only thing your mind is about is the bag, that's fine. I have no issues with that at all. If the only thing you care about is the bag, then that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Just understand that there are consequences to that. Say, for instance, somebody said, hey, there's a mine around that corner. If you give me $10, I'll give you a map to a mine. And say we back in 1849 in San Francisco, the gold rush days. And you pay that money for that mine, for that map. Well, how many other people do you think he sold that map to? When you get multiple people, but if you just focus on the bag, you're not gonna ask that question. You're not gonna ask, man, I wonder if am I the only person that got this map? Has he drawn this map up hundreds of times and sold it to hundreds of people? Are there other people who know about this mine shaft? Am I the only one? You don't think that when you only think about the bag. You just want the bag. So you take whatever risk it takes to get that bag. Then you show up to the gold mine. 20, 30 people already there. And they all got guns. They all staring each other down. If you pay attention to your surroundings, you'll take a step back and be like, hold on. Was it worth it? But if you just focus on the bag, you might go through that line and get yourself fucked up. That's why you got to pay attention to all of your surroundings when you decide to move to another country. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, my name is Terry, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. And
Terry,
I agree with everything you say. The only thing I would add is it's just as Professor Black Truth says all the time. Those who don't defend their advocates will find themselves with no advocates. And that's what all our diaspora cousins are finding out from Africa, because they do not defend their advocates. So they have none.
That's real talk, because they've had a lot of advocates and a lot of advocates from here, and they've done nothing but disrespect them people if they bring them up at all. You right about that?
Yes. That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for giving me a
Keep
call.
doing you. Mm-hmm.
That's real talk. You don't defend your advocates, you'll find yourself with people with no advocates at all. And Black Americans have been the biggest advocates of Africa. Hell, go back to early 90s hip hop. X-Clan, to the east, my brother to the east. To the east, my brother to the east, y'all. Africa medallions were the attire of the day. Malcolm X baseball caps. We've always held Africa in high esteem in North America. Our greatest teacher, John Henry Clark, made sure we held Africa in its highest esteem. We ain't got too many thank yous for that. You're right. You're supposed to put the younger Queen Latifah when she came out looking like a little fake Scheherazade Ali with the hat. Africa was everything to us in the early 90s. It was in our music. It was in our movies. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's good with you, bro? Just your boy from University of Maryland, man.
What's up, brother? What's on your mind?
Man, just getting ready for this game tomorrow, man, against Minnesota.
Y'all got a game? When y'all next game on TV?
Oh, tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Is it going to be on ESPN?
Yeah, it should. At 9.
Okay. Let me look it up. I put it in my calendar right now. There we go. Cool. All right, yeah. Okay, I see that. Y'all got a game. I'm looking. What is today?
Today's the 1st.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm going to remind myself. Hopefully it comes on over here. If it don't, I can find it online. So what's going on at the University of Maryland? How's it on campus? I know, I'm glad you called in because I know you guys have been having issues with the Africans on campus. Well, what's going on right now in Ukraine? What's going on campus?
Because they bring that bullshit tribalism over here, man. Like we don't want we typical people that we don't do that. If you black, you black. That's how we look at you. But we look at you like as cousins that's across the pond. But sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you got to get your ass checked sometimes.
Are they asking you guys to help in the protests with?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That fake shit, man. Yeah.
See, yeah. All right. I'm glad you said that. See, that's what goes on. Oh, y'all got a game on Sunday against Michigan State. That's gonna be on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm watching that for sure.
I'm still playing hurt, man. You know.
Hey, you know how them college campuses do? They make y'all play hurt, and then if you do wrong, they make it seem like it's your fault. But hey, you know how I go. Set the screens and play as hard off the ball as you do on the ball, and you'll be straight.
Yeah, you already know. Nah, but yeah, man, like, with this African foolishness, man, like, I look at it like this, man. Like, them dudes, okay, so in Ukraine, them Africans, because, like, I travel, so I got a passport, and a lot of, me and my teammates, you know what I'm saying, we travel a lot. Like, I've been to Europe a couple of times, the Philippines, Europe, and a lot of those Nigerians, especially Nigerians, they go to those countries and freeload off the system. And what Ukrainians saying is like, yeah, bro, you over here freeload? Nah, bro, you better pick up a Glock or M16, bro. Nah, man, you out here freeload off our government. Fight. Nah, exactly. Bro, you gotta fight.
You said pick up a Glock, man. You right about that, man. But man, I'm glad. Thank you for the information about as far as that goes, man. But good luck at your game, and I'll holler at you, brother.
All right, brother.
Have a good one. Yeah. Salute to the Maryland Terrapins. We got 2 more games this season. Tomorrow versus Minnesota, and then Sunday on CBS versus Michigan State. I'll make sure I watch that. So, you know, it's just one of those things where we as black people, we're reassessing everyone from the Nigerians to the Caribbeans to Jay-Z to Obama to this whack-ass Supreme Court justice they just got. I know y'all probably heard by now she ruled against those black people in that Lockheed Martin discrimination lawsuit. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Kennedy. Calling from Texas.
Kennedy from Texas. What's on your mind?
Yeah, the one. Yeah, I'm just, man, like you said, first of all, like you said, I like you. I like your show, you know, so, but to me, you are being divisive, you know, as far as with this division with so-called FBA. At least that's the name I'm hearing now, FBA, and island people like I from the Caribbean and so-called people, I guess, from the motherland. I mean, yo, you have to understand, man. And you came to Austin, Texas. This is the Rasta that was at the show with Austin, Texas. When you and them came up. Yeah, but to me, man, I listen to y'all and y'all are some very wise young men. But as far as like, it's just how y'all come off with somehow the way y'all talk, man. It's like, it can sound divisive. I personally, from listening to you and meeting you, you're not a divisive person, but it's just how maybe y'all might come off, you know, because like you say, we's all one, my lad. I don't care if you're a Jamaican, a Dominican, you from somewhere in America, you born here, whatever. Dark people, my lad, is one. Hawaiian, Guamanian, whatever, and we have one common enemy. I mean, y'all can see this from the time you came on the earth, from you learning your lessons, getting education, from just raising up. All dark people on this earth, my lord, have one enemy, boss. I don't care where you are is one enemy. Is no beating around the bush, ain't no what up, down, high, low, is one, my lord. And just how y'all come off, you can hear the little divisiveness. It's not no FBA, it's not no LBGQ, whatever, USA, wherever, my lord. Like you say, no matter where you come from, as long as you is a dark man, you is a African. That's it. Ain't no running away from it like everybody does. You is one set of people, dark people, my lord. Hi, there's no difference. And that's the only thing when y'all trying to come about as trying to come together as one. Overstand is dark and light, my lord. There's no difference, no Jamaican, no FBA, no St. Lucian, no Crucian, no whatever, no American. Y'all are Americans. The dark people here and this so-called continent, whatever part of this place, are Americans.
I hear
Y'all
you.
got conquered.
Can I reply, brother?
Y'all got conquered. Everybody got conquered everywhere.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
People, boss.
I'm with you 100%.
And there is no difference.
I hear you, brother, but give me a chance to respond. I'll let you go for 3 minutes so far without.
Okay.
So
go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
Let me respond. First of all, I'm gonna say you're right.
Go ahead. My fault.
We are one. The diaspora of black people across the planet, we are one. We're the first people here on the planet, the first to populate the planet. We're indigenous to all 4 corners of the planet. Yes, we are one. Yes, we do have a common enemy. And that common enemy is white people who are only 10% of Earth, 9% of Earth's population. They're 9% of Earth's population, the people out of Europe, and they're our common enemy. The problem is, I understand that. Most black Americans understand that we are one. But with respect to our internal politics, people from the diaspora, starting with Shirley Chisholm, has been used politically to undermine the progress black people are making here in the United States. The people across the diaspora are being used as pawns by white America to undermine the progress of the black people who built the nation. Now, the black people who built the nation have a genuine beef with the white Americans who've been in this nation for about 400 years now. And the bill is due. The problem is we have people from the diaspora, whether that be Winsome Sears in Virginia, Lieutenant Governor of Virginia saying we don't need reparations, to Sheila Jackson Lee in Houston saying that reparations is just a task force and trying to give us anything but money. And then we have places like the Shade Room, Lipstick Alley, World Star Hip Hop. A lot of these publications that are major black publications who have funding are people who are not from here, but they make their money off showcasing the worst of us. We have people from the diaspora who is now playing our music. Our music we've freely given to the world. We know we've never had any issues with people from the Caribbean and Rastafarians and their music. We've always loved and appreciated it. But we have people from the diaspora, whether that be Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, a lot of these different rappers, Lil Uzi, all these people, they're out. What's the other one that just got shot last week here in LA? The Kodak Black, whatever. They're taking our music and they're shitting on it. They're dumping on it. And on Martin Luther King Day, we have people like Rihanna putting Martin Luther King's picture in gold. It's flat out disrespectful. So all we saying is this. People gonna have to start putting some respect and give us the level of respect you would want if we were to come to your home. Treat us the way we would want you to treat you when we go to visit your home, when we do go to your home on vacation and put money in your local economy. Give us the same respect. And if people aren't going to give us that respect, then we're going to talk and we're going to do what we have to do to get that respect. And that's where we are with it right now. We've been quiet at it. We've been quiet for a long time. You know me, we met, brother. You had a good energy, my man. You know, I got nothing but love for you. And I hear where you're coming from. I would rather not have these conversations with people from the diaspora. The problem is the people from the diaspora have been undermining us for far too long. And we're now treating them the same way we've always treated our internal coons. See, black Americans, the minute we found out a black American is someone who was loyal to white folks, they were always X'd out, chastised. Clarence Thomas was never approved by us. You can't find a black person to say a positive word about Clarence Thomas in 30 years. When it comes to Larry Elder, when it comes to the Black American Foundation of Black American Coons, the people who've undermined us, the people who undermined the Denmark Vesey Revolt, the Black American Coons and the NAACP, black people in America have far, far, far more harsh words for foundational Black Americans who undermine us than we do people from the Caribbean. One thing you have to understand about our culture, and one thing about Black American culture is we always include a little bit of shit talk with our lessons. Like my grandfather, for instance. My grandfather taught me how to cook. My grandfather taught me how to clean. My grandfather nurtured me. He picked me up from school when I was sick, but he always called me the little fat motherfucker while he did it. That's just something that we do culturally. It's always a zing and a jab. If you too light-skinned, who was this old light-skinned vanilla face mother? That's part of our culture. Foundational Black Americans know how to let the joke kind of slide to get the message, because that's just the way we deliver messages, because we've gone through so much on this planet, on this continent, here in this Ma'afa in North America. We always add a little zinger with our little zabbers. And that's just how we get down. It ain't personal. It's gonna be some jokes, but that's how, one, we treat each other before interacting with people from the diaspora. So when people from the diaspora come into a new country, if you don't understand the culture, if you don't understand the methodologies, if you don't understand how these cultures interact and get down with one another, it's easy to take upon and see it when that culture interacts with you as that culture doing something different, something wrong, something mean, whatever. Just understand that the jokes and the extra stuff is cultural. And that's just how we speak as a people. But we welcome our people from the diaspora. We love them. Those who are on code, those who are going to go back and speak to other people in the diaspora about leaving us the hell alone while we deal with these crackers in America, either help us, leave us alone, that would be a big help. But as far as us losing focus off this, it's not going to happen. As long as we have people like Candace Owens running around from the Caribbean, Stephen A. Smith, as long as we got these people running around, you can expect Black people to get louder and louder and louder until people get some respect. But thanks for giving us a call, my brother, man. I appreciate you for letting me know where you come from, and I got nothing but love and respect for you, all right?
Yeah, like I say, man, my lord, I have no problem with nobody that I can see that look like I. Once you dark, my lord, I have no problem with no one. I get along with everyone, and we need to just start doing that, man. Like you say, right now the world is going through some crazy times right now, my lord, and we all need to be one right now, moving forward, you know. So all of this, like you say, FBA or whatever, against, I personally from the Caribbean have too much so-called FBA friends, like you would want to call yourself now, and we just get along, boss. We know we have one goal, one enemy, boss. And we just need to move forward on one page, on one accord right now. There's no division, no way. It's the world that's putting things, it's the world that's just throwing things in a way. And you and Craig and them and Dozy and them need to just stay on one part. And like I say, I love y'all show. Y'all need to just keep doing what y'all doing, but anybody that y'all can see, because like you say, people might call into y'all shows too that just want to throw in a little divisive stuff in it just to set y'all apart. You know, like all the people is one, boss. We have no kind of division. A lot of stuff is just thrown in it to divide us. You just don't go along and just add your piece in it. And always, like you say, understand is the enemy out there trying to divide us, and we don't need to fall for it, and we need to go on one accord in this so-called 222 and forward.
Thank you for letting us know that, brother. I got another few calls calling in, man, but thank you for that, man. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, bless, King.
All right. Yeah, we are all one. We all do need to come together, but let me tell y'all something. You know the best way to come together with someone else? It's no different than a marriage. No different than a marriage. A marriage is at its best when you have two strong individuals. If one spouse is strong within themselves, self-confident, self-assured, and the other spouse always feels inadequate, always insecure, don't know who they are, don't care to know who they are, just dependent, at some point, that relationship is going to meet its end, because the person that's always out for self-improvement, always out to be the best they can be, they're going to want to attract and be around other people who are the best that they can be. So that marriage is going to soon come to a divorce, because you have two people on different levels in their lives. Unequal. That's what unequally yoked means. It means we're in different spaces in time in our lives. The best unions is when I am 100% proud of my culture. I love my culture. And through that love and pride of my culture and my cultural roots, I can love and respect your pride and your cultural roots. It's a lot of dope shit that got created down in the Caribbean. It's a lot of dope culture in the Caribbean. But we need people from the Caribbean that got love and respect and reverence for their culture. And they can meet up with foundational Black Americans who have love, reverence, and respect for our culture. And from there, you can build a bond that can't be broken. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Hung Gang Menace calling in. Right now, I'm in South Dakota.
South Dakota? God damn, it's cold. What's on your mind?
Well, you ain't never lied. Yeah, man, I just want to tell the last caller, bro, you delusional. We ain't all equal. You don't have the same reparations claim we got right here on the land that you fled to, or that your parents fled to, or that their parents fled to, because they just couldn't get it jumping wherever they at. It's not the same. See, we as Black Americans, we know what we up against. Since they fled 20 years ago, they seem to forget. We helped you. We helped you get here. We went to Ethiopia and helped them Italians get up off your ass. And then your prime minister want to take a giant shit upon what we do. Oh, how lowly they forget.
Oh, I forgot about that prime minister. Yeah, he did say some bullshit.
Please don't forget about him. I'm keeping him in the forefront. I want him on the front, because that's where he should be at right now. All this, please save Ukraine, and oh my God, my African brothers. What we gonna do about my African brothers? They got African embassies right there in Ukraine. Go. Why we gotta help people? We gotta help everybody else. The Chinese came over here. We didn't help them get their businesses off the ground. The Italians came over here, flooded the economy with drugs. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But now that we done picked ourselves up, dusted off our bootstraps, now everybody got a problem. Whether you Caribbean or African, or you being so divisive in the diaspora. No, bruh. You came over here because of us. We were the ones that put forth those committees to get you over here. They wasn't letting Black people over here like that. They was letting Italians, French, Germans, those people who look just like them. And then when they get over here, after a year or two, oh, these niggas so lazy. These niggas so divisive. I can't believe it. I got my cab. Where's your cab?
Yeah,
bro,
a lot of that shit,
it
man.
ain't the same.
You brought up a lot of good points, man. Thanks for giving us that call.
Anytime.
Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, my name Pierre. I'm calling from LA, from the Bay though.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
I've been listening to this conversation for a while, you know what I mean? Like how, for a minute. And I think this is something that the non-FBA people need to understand. It started by, and it really is totally about checking the coons. See, we check our coons all the time. Once we started checking y'all coons, now everybody wants to get mad and act like, oh, we're being divisive and we're doing something weird. All we doing is calling out injustices against Black people. That's all it is. So if you don't want us saying nothing about it, then how about y'all make your voices louder and calling out the coons from your culture. And then, you know what I'm saying? Because that's all it is.
That's really all it is.
In terms of what I see.
In a nutshell, that's all it is. It's just really calling out the coons from the culture, because I have no issues with people from the diaspora being here. But if we all about to get this money, if we all about to stand up to white supremacy when it comes across our face, let's get it. But if it's gonna be one of those, when white supremacy comes down, you siding with white supremacy, and you know you about your money, but then when you do everything good, oh, someone from Trinidad did this, or somebody from Nigeria did that. But then when somebody go around with a goddamn hatchet, knocking motherfuckers, chopping people's heads off, now they black. Why should we have to take on everything negative in the black diaspora, but when people across the diaspora do something good, their particular group gets the credit? That's the issue.
Right.
Because the most dangerous lie, remember this, people, the most dangerous lie is the lie of omission. What is lie of omission? Omitting the facts, omitting something that actually happened within the discussion. So if someone tells you, hey, that person A slapped person B, you're gonna look at person A like an asshole. But they tell you the whole story, person A slapped person B after person B spit in person A's mouth, called him a nigger, and then kicked their child in the face. See, now you know the whole story. Person A, now slapping person B sounds like the minimum. You should have shot the motherfucker. But when you omit those facts, it skews the perception. So when people want to omit what's going on between people across the diaspora and how they treat black Americans, it skews the perception of our reaction.
And that's why I'm like, I don't know if they doing that on purpose or if they just don't know. But it's like, how can you not call out your own bullshit and then get mad at us when we do it?
Because we got a culture of calling out bullshit. But I got to answer this call, man. Thanks for giving us a call.
It's all good.
818, call back. I tried to get you 818, call back. But, yeah, we have a history here in America. Black Americans have a history of fighting back and ousting the internal coons. We don't get along with our Sambos here at all. Sambos got a bounce when they around us. You ain't never seen that motherfucker Christopher Darden kicking it with no other niggas. I guarantee goddamn to you. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, my brother? This is Larry calling from Houston, Texas.
Oh, this your sorry ass. I thought it was somebody for real. What's up, nigga?
Man, these hands. Hey, man. So I've been listening a little bit today. I just something interesting happened this morning, dog. I got an Uber, and there was this African nigga, and so he starts talking. Said, "Brother, have you seen what's going on in the Ukraine?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Brother, that is so wrong." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "So what are we going to do?" I said, "Man, I don't know what we gonna do. What y'all think y'all need to do?" He said, "But brother, y'all, we're all in this together." I said, "Nah, those your people over there, man. My people over here, we good, man." And so he got mad and he didn't say shit. But I got the last laugh because I gave that whole ass nigga 1 star when I got it. Ass car, dog.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's always that's the thing that people don't. I don't know if people from the diaspora realize that Black Americans have heard this. We're all in this together talk for a long goddamn time from a lot of different cultures. Whenever their culture is under some heat, wherever they are, we all friends. But the minute that heat's over with, everybody goes back to being who they are. We just tired of it. This is probably my last call. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
They are. We all friends, but the minute that he's over.
Yo, what up? We call him East St. Louis, Illinois.
Okay, you there? What's up? Turn it down in the background. If you listen, turn it down or mute it.
Oh, my bad.
So, what's on your mind?
Man, I was just calling, man, because first of all, big up to you, man. Watch the show every motherfucking time you put it up there and everything. I'm just calling because, man, I think we kind of taking it a little bit too far sometimes when we going so hard at the little Africans all the time, man. It's like, I know they coons, a lot of them be coons, but I think we need to like really focus on like white supremacy for the most part.
Question. That's for the
Yes,
most
sir.
part what we've been doing up until maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. What was the
Right,
result?
right. I mean, we still get a lot of these African coons and everything, but it's like we going more harder on them than we do on the white folks, though.
No,
you feel what I'm saying?
I have to ask. No, I have to ask you. I gotta get a clear answer. What has been the result of us ignoring them?
I don't know. You tell me.
Look at where we are right now. Look at the Congressional Black Caucus. It's full of immigrants. Look at the so-called black media, online media, lipstick app. They're all immigrants. And how do they talk about us? Look at what's going on in Hollywood. I don't know if you noticed this. I don't know if you noticed about 15 years ago, black actors were really talking about the wages black actors get paid relative to white actors on the same show. What's her name? Della Reese was getting paid less. Della Reese had a show called Touched by an Angel. It was her show. She brought to the network. The white actors were getting paid more than her on her own show. So black actors throughout the 2000s were drawing up a steady drumbeat on their pay relative to white actors. So what did Hollywood do? They started hiring African and Caribbean actors to play black roles. So as black Americans, we see yet again, every time it's time for us to take a step up in the financial ladder in America, they bring in an immigrant group to undermine the money. And that's a real concern with black Americans. Same thing with this federal job, for state and federal jobs. State and federal jobs, for the most part, used to go to black Americans. When black Americans had, and that's something that was fought for by A. Philip Randolph. If it weren't for A. Philip Randolph, none of these immigrants would be able to work federal state jobs. None of them will be able to work for any military contracting company that pays good money. It was a black man that fought for that. So black Americans have stayed quiet as immigrants, whether it be from Mexico, Asia, or Africa. They've all come in and they, for the most part, replaced black people with state federal jobs, while black people are experiencing the highest homelessness in American history. So the net result of us being quiet while all this has been going on has been the highest homeless rate in the history of the United States, and that includes post-slavery. That's been the result. It's been a result of us getting knocked further down the economic ladder. And the only way these things can happen successfully is if they are done in the dark. If it's done in the dark, if no one's talking about it, if everyone's going along with it, it gets to continue to exist. The moment it stops is the moment the people who are the victims of this speak up and talk about it. So I'm gonna finish it by saying the net result has been the highest homeless rate, the highest mass incarceration rate, our HBCUs and colleges being resources been allocated to people who did not fight for federal, state, local jobs. We've been replaced on every level by people who did not fight for these things, all from staying quiet. So when we identify it, when we see what it is, we can clean it up and we can fix it. But we can never fix a problem that doesn't first get talked about. We got to take this back to math. In math, if you have 2x minus 3 equals 7 over 3x minus 5 equals 9, you don't sit and complain about about the problem or how tough it is. You look at it, you analyze it, and you solve it. But part of solving it is first identifying what the problem is.
I totally agree with you, my brother.
All right, man. You have a good one, my brother.
All right.
Yeah, we got to talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, the problem continues to exist. Because the more we talk about it, the more we find people with solutions. The more we find, and there is no one solution to any problem. As problems come at you 360, you attack them 360. Problems come at you 360, you attack them 360. Yes, white folks are a problem, and we've had a steady drumbeat of attacking white supremacy. We've never stopped attacking white supremacy. We still talking about our reparations. We still talking about our reparations. But when people from the diaspora want to come around and get in the middle of that, we have to identify that problem and do something about it. If y'all like the way I broke down that communicate these issues and problems, I got the communication masterclass coming on Patreon. Monthly masterclasses on properly communicating issues between family members, co-workers, friends, all that good stuff. Either join the Patreon or they can be purchased as a standalone lecture. Either way it goes, fine with me. I'm just here to help. I got a lot to get done today. I got an interview in 2 hours, and then I'll be at Craig Facts after that. California's allowing CCWs. Los Angeles County is allowing people to get their concealed carry permits for the first time like in 40 years. So I got my interview with the sheriff department in a couple of hours to get my concealed carry permit. So I can yak on that ass if need be. Thank y'all for joining. Hotepish.com/shop. Get the Mothers of the Movement shirt, Scholars shirt. Black people don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. This is the thing for today. When people want to say black people, we owe them more. No, we don't. No, we don't. We've done enough. We've done enough. Self-preservation. The first law of nature. We got to preserve ourselves. And what are we going to do? We're going to revert back to our nature once we save ourselves. We still going to look out for the diaspora. That's something that's never going to leave Black America. We always going to look out for other people. But we got to put our air mask on first before we put yours on. Like they tell you on the airplane. You put your oxygen mask on first before you put the next person's on. And right now, Black Americans are putting our oxygen mask on. We're saving ourselves. And remember, black people don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. Oh, what's up, Kendall, in the chat room? Y'all go ahead, man. Kendall, Tasha called me and said how much you helped her out. Tasha called me and said that you really look like your therapy session really did work magic on her. So y'all subscribe, follow Kendall. I don't even take advertising money from Kendall, and I'll never take advertising money from her. I advertise her because she's genuinely great at what she does. And for those of us who have mental hangups, mental blocks, you want to get through them, this is who you contact. But yeah, one of my moderators, Tasha, she hit me up. She was like, man, Kendall is the greatest. And she's just like the fourth or fifth person that's told me that after having a session with Kendall. Thank you, Star. Star put her information up in the chat room. Yeah, mental health is real. Cut through all the bullshit in your mind. Cut through all the bullshit in your mind and get things worked out and figured out. Share the program, like the program. And remember, people from the diaspora, nothing but love. I have nothing but love for people from the diaspora. Nothing but love. But we are all going to be at our best when we all fix home. And right now, Black Americans are fixing home. I encourage people from across the diaspora to do the same. Because a strong America and a Black America and a diaspora that's still being dominated by white supremacists, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. We need a strong Black America and a strong Nigerian America. A strong, not Nigerian America, a strong Nigeria, a strong Botswana, strong Zimbabwe, Madagascar, Ethiopia, Trinidad and Tobago, Puerto Rico, Cuba, St. Lucia, Barbados. We need y'all to be strong too. Y'all got some good ass fruit y'all need to be trading with us without the white supremacists in the middle of it. Native Barbados owned ships that's transporting the fruit on your island to the world. Native owned ships from the Congo owned by black African Congolese shipping cobalt to the United States so black Americans could build our own version of the iPhone that's 10 times better. That's what we need. We need some black-owned vineyards in South Africa shipping that world-renowned South African wine to black-owned vineyards on the coast of California, shipping around Central Coast wine from California. We need that. That's not going to happen if everyone's looking to go everywhere else for their sustenance. You got to do that shit at home and leave these Europeans alone and fight each other. You need to go to them for nothing. They motherfuckers, Europe ain't nothing but a sorry ass ghetto. What the fuck you? Africa, man, shit. Africa and the Caribbean, nigga? Nigga, y'all ever been to Dominican Island? Come on, man. Jamaica? Put Jamaica next to Croatia. Are you fucking serious? Nigga, put Liberia next to the Ukraine. What? The fuck y'all doing going to them? They ain't shit. Or at least if you go to them for a generation or two and bring the knowledge back home like they did you. They went to the University of Timbuktu in Mali. They went to the University of Saltalamacchia in Spain. And they brought their information back home. Those more Oxford University in England, that ain't nothing but the Moorish universities in Spain. Do what they did. Go to their universities and bring the shit back home like they did with yours. They took your information and took it back to Europe. If you're going to go to Europe, take that shit back home and rebuild home. Because what you got at home is way doper than what you're escaping to. Remember this, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up the game. My name is Dwan B. We out.